Let's talk about the most exclusive credit card or charge card in the world that you most likely won't be able to get. But no hard feelings because I fall into that camp as well. I most likely will not get this card, the American Express Centurion card. And this is better known as the black card. So in this video, we're going to talk about the status of the card, the history of the card, the requirements in order to get the card, and the features. So let's get into it. So we already talked about this being the most exclusive credit card in the world, but this credit card is not just the most exclusive, but it's also reserved for the ultra wealthy, people who meet certain net worths, credit quality, and spending requirements. With high level luxury benefits, hotel perks, personal concierge, and access to exclusive rewards. The black card has held a symbol of wealth and luxury for decades. And speaking of it holding a symbol of wealth for decades, let's talk about the history of the American Express Centurion card. So supposedly in 1988, there was an article that was reported saying that an exclusive American Express membership card that was never advertised had been discontinued in 1987. Basically saying that the card was held for a trial run for a certain group of individuals. So there was a spokesperson with American Express that said American Express actually abandoned the black card due to the fact that they released the American Express Platinum card that offered 95% of the same features that the black card was offering at the time. However, in 1999, American Express has finally introduced the Centurion card, better known as the black card, aimed towards their wealthiest cardholders. And just because this is a fun fact, Jerry Seinfeld from the show Seinfeld claims that he was the first person to receive the Centurion card due to the fact that he reached out to the president of American Express at the time because he heard rumors about the black card existing, and he called up and the president basically said it didn't, and Jerry Seinfeld said it should, and so the president said he is, and Jerry Seinfeld was the first person he issued the Centurion card to based off of his claims. And while we're on the topic of fun facts, while doing the research for this video, I actually stumbled across something that I thought would be quite interesting due to the fact that the black card is a charge card and you can kind of spend endlessly on it. At least that's what I think, because I don't have the black card literally, but let's get into this fact because this one is quite interesting. The largest purchase ever made on the black card was a painting that a businessman bought in New York in 2015 for $170,405,000, which I think is a bit absurd. I didn't even know you can put that on a card, but obviously, because this is the black card we're talking about. And experts estimate there are about 100,000 card holders that have the Centurion card, but out of that 100,000, only 20,000 of those people are in the United States. That's less than 1% of the population, meaning this card is truly the most exclusive. I mean, just think about how difficult it must be to get this card. Let's jump right into the requirements in order to get the Centurion card. And I guess I can't really say that because the Centurion card doesn't really have a strict set of rules in order to get it. Like, for example, it can change based on the person that's getting the invitation to even apply for the card. You can't just apply for it and think that you're going to get approved like a regular credit card or even a regular charge card. You have to actually get an invitation from American Express saying that you can apply for the Centurion card, and even then doesn't guarantee that you would actually get approved for it. And obviously this point should go without saying, but you have to have a strong relationship with American Express to even be considered for the American Express Centurion card before they even send you any kind of invitation that you can apply for that card specifically. And not only that, you also have to pay $10,000 one time for a initiation fee. And if you thought the annual fee for the American Express Gold card was high, sitting at $325 at the time of filming this video, or even the American Express Platinum card, which is sitting at $695, well, that's something to laugh at compared to the Centurion card sitting at $5,000 for an annual fee, bringing the total for the first year of holding this card at $15,000. So unless you have $15,000 to pretty much throw at a credit card for the first year of holding it, then the Centurion card probably isn't for you. And this should probably go without saying, but in order to even be considered for the Centurion card, you would need an excellent credit score, basically around that 780 or higher range if you want to even be considered for this card. And while it's hard to pinpoint the exact requirements due to exclusivity of the card, it is said that the income requirement is at least $1 million a year, in that you must spend and pay off at least $350,000 across American Express credit cards a year. And that's American Express credit cards. That's not Chase credit cards or Capital One credit cards, or any credit cards for that matter, if it's not American Express. But according to the research I've done in order to film this video, there's no set in stone rules in order to get invited for the Centurion card. Like, you could spend over $1 million on your American Express cards and still not get invited for the Centurion card. But it also matters the type of spending you do, where you live, your spending history, and your relationship with American Express. For the type of spending you do, it is said American Express tends to like when you spend on a luxury lifestyle rather than a business lifestyle. For example, if you are spending heavily on first class flights, fine dining, and luxury goods, then you will have a better chance at an invitation. But if you're spending the same amount on online advertising or office supplies, you probably shouldn't expect to see an invitation. And American Express seems to want to see these spending habits happen continuously. So like a few years of these high levels of luxury spending before you're even considered for an invitation. So those are the requirements in order to get the Centurion card. Well, that's what I would assume, because like I said, those facts are not set in stone. But let's talk about what you get when you do actually have the Centurion card, like the features that this card has. So starting off, it does have complimentary elevation to elite status levels of several of the world's largest travel brands, like IHG Platinum Elite, stuff like Hilton Honors Diamond, even Marriott Bonvoy Gold. You also can earn 1 membership reward point on eligible purchases, exclusive retail benefits including up to $250 per quarter in Saks Fifth Avenue credits, so a total of $1,000 a year. Complimentary Delta Sky Miles Platinum Medallion status, which includes priority wait listing, enhanced mileage earnings, priority check-in and boarding, and courtesy upgrades. And you also get an invitation to Hertz Platinum status and Avis President's Club, and access to the Global Lounge Collection and guest access at Centurion lounges. Another pretty cool feature you get with the Centurion card, which I actually learned is doing the research for this video, obviously, but you get your own personal concierge. And you do also get concierge with other cards like the American Express Platinum, but there are limits with that card. But with the black card, there is no limit within the law. Of course, you can't do anything that's unlawful. You also can request anything from reservations at restaurants that are already booked to products that are seemingly impossible to get your hands on yourself. However, I have seen a lot of things talking about how the concierge service actually have changed for the worse over the years, but it's a whole lot behind it, so I don't know how good they are now. So the American Express Centurion card is obviously one of the most popular cards, one of the most exclusive, one of the ones that just basically shows people you have status, you are status. I don't know if this card is right for me personally, simply because one, I'm not that egotistic, and this is not a shot at anyone who actually has the black card. If you have it, obviously you're better than me, right? Because you have a card that's black. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like this card doesn't offer much besides the fact of letting people know that you are in a different bracket. Me personally, I like to move in silence, you know, stealth wealth. For those people who do like the Centurion card or interested in it or have a goal to one day get it, if you don't have it, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know what you feel about the Centurion card or when you're going to get it. With that being said, I'll see y'all on the next one.